As a result of the analysis of Vega's potency, it seemed that Vega might revive from the branched cells, even if the main body was destroyed. Probably, Vega's evil Dragon King Ozzy Dahaka will be inherited, and the information on Zelenith's dark cells will be transmitted. Even if we kill him now, the escaped evil dragon spawn will be resurrected as a new Vega. No wonder he escaped from Tensura. Diablo thought bitterly. He could not allow himself to make the same mistake. That was one of the reasons Diablo was a little worried. It would be easy enough to defeat Vega, but he needed to take steps to make sure that he would not be able to revive him. There were two more concerns. The first was that Mai would be targeted. Since Vega did not have teleport capability, it was natural that they would try to take it away from her. However, if they are sure that Mai will be targeted, they can take countermeasures. In this case, Vega's hope will not be fulfilled because Zijin is keeping a very close eye on him. Second, this was a problem. This was a move that Vega, by his very nature, was not likely to make. But one never knows what a cornered man will do. While Diablo was thinking about this, Benimaru sent telepathy net to him. The hierarchy is trying to isolate Vega, but we've decided to scrap it all. I agree with you on that. Is there any other problem? Benimaru also understands the situation on the big screen. Even so, it is difficult to get a sense of the temperature on the ground, so he listens to Diablo's opinion. It was Rimuru's policy to share even the smallest problem. No, you know. If we deal with this thing as it is, there is a high possibility that it will be taken over by the evil dragon spawn that is heading for the lower level. We have to get rid of it first to prevent that from happening. It is a theory that they should quickly get rid of an opponent like Vega. If they don't do so, he may gain extra power and become more troublesome. The reason why Diablo did not do so, even though he understood that, is because Tensura had made the mistake of letting him go. Diablo admits Tensura's mistake, even though he made fun of her a lot. If she had made a mistake, it was something to be appreciated by her adversaries. And in fact, he found Vega's nature troublesome. The more troublesome an opponent is, the more surely they should proceed, even if they have to go a long way. Diablo was reminded of this, and he braced himself. The evil dragon spawn that Dino and his team are dealing with has been revived many times. The first one that Diablo had defeated was also resurrected, and now he was facing 3 of them at the same time. Even so, they are still no match for Dino, who has been working hard, but they seem to be getting stronger little by little, perhaps because Vega is sharing his power with them more and more. The one headed for the lower level is far away from the main body, so it may not be that invulnerable. He's a pain in the ass, Diablo muses. Benimaru, too, was troubled by the situation. Seeing that Diablo was dominating Vega, Benimaru was planning a new strategy. After Diablo defeats Vega, Benimaru discards the isolation labyrinth. This way, even if Vega revives, he will not be able to come back to the labyrinth. Once the labyrinth isolation is completed, we will not be able to check the status of the monitor anymore. Before that happened, he was planning to make arrangements with Diablo. Benimaru thought to himself that he had been a bit naive. Alright. I'll take care of that, you just keep things as they are. With these words, Diablo terminated the telepathy net with Benimaru. Then, with a nonchalant, disinterested look on his face, he began to chip away at Vega's power. Dino, who had been fighting with great vigor, was becoming less and less energetic. When the number of evil dragon spawn increased from 2 to 3, he lost a lot of motivation. But there's no end to this. Dino slashed down the evil dragon spawn that attacked him and grumbled. Vega had been trying to seize control of the labyrinth and had succeeded, albeit only partially. Rimuru is in the process of isolation from the 61st to the 90th levels, which means that Vega's control is now extended. In other words, evil dragon spawn can come back to life inexhaustibly, as long as it does not run out of energy. Moreover, it seemed to be getting stronger little by little, even though it could be killed with a single blow. Fortunately, the number of evil dragon spawn is limited. However, there are other troublesome points. He fired a concentrated mana bullet at the second one, but it did not kill it, except for a hole in its chest. At that time, Zijin gave him a word of advice. The release technique is pointless. Know that you are benefiting your enemy. Zijin is the strongest guardian in the labyrinth and knows its nature. He knows what not to do. What? Dino realizes. Diablo, too, is dealing with Vega only with blows and slashes. He was convinced. Since Vega is in sync with the labyrinth that is being isolated, he should have thought that all the energy released in the labyrinth would be captured. Dino has a good guess, but he is too lazy. He does not have the ability to guess without being told, like Diablo and Zijin. Or rather, most of them would be described as distracted when compared with those two. Dino's magicule is also huge, so a few thousand mana bullets wouldn't be a problem, but it wouldn't be so interesting to know that the energy is just flowing to Vega. Really? So Vega's like he's the only one protected by the labyrinth. Zijin nodded silently in agreement. If that is the answer, it means that Dino and the others will not be able to end their battle unless Vega itself is defeated. Dino became depressed early. The evil dragon spawn, which could regenerate itself endlessly until it ran out of energy, was coming at him, gradually getting stronger and stronger. The only saving grace is that evil dragon spawn has no level. If it had been split body like Valgren's, they would have been out of the woods by then. Anyway, they have to deal with it even if it turns out to be useless. Dino decided to fight evil dragon spawn with only his 2 swords, though he was reluctant to do so. At the same time, he asks Rammus if there's anything he can do. Hey Rammus. Your labyrinth has some weak points, doesn't it? Tell me that. Otherwise, we'll never be able to finish defeating it. He is showing a little consideration for them by secretly playing telepathy net. However, it was not that simple. Especially nowadays, Rammus has no time to spare, so their response is salty. I'm not a fool. My labyrinth has no weak points. Are you an idiot? Don't be so arrogant after Vega took your invincible labyrinth away from you. I haven't lost it. I'm just imperfectly imitating your authority because I'm in the process of isolation. But it was still not enough. Idiot. That's why we're having a hard time. Dino's twin swords gleamed as he exchanged a few words with Rammus. At the same time, an evil dragon spawn vanishes into dust. Despite his grumbling, Dino's technique was brilliant. Rammus is impressed. Keep up the good work, Dino. What? Diablo and Benimaru were discussing the fact that one of them is attacking them, and if they don't kill it, Vega might take over. Rammus's explanation was not quite sufficient, but Dino also understood the situation. I see. So that's why Diablo had been prepping for this. Diablo was carefully working out his mana while fighting off Vega. Dino had been wondering why Vega was not going to do it, even though he had already reached the density where he would be able to defeat Vega. If he thought he could escape from the situation by putting the finishing touches on Vega now, it would have been a reasonable response. But then, the status quo would be maintained until Rammus and the others were dealt with. Dino's holy sword and magic sword shone with black and white sword ores. Wielding them skillfully, Dino fights off the evil dragon spawn. Since he was getting nowhere, he switched to energy saving mode. It's still going to take a while. I'm sorry, but can't you guys help me? Dino asked without looking back. Pico and Gracia had already put on the divine spirit armament and had apotheosized themselves. Looking at their appearance, they were very enthusiastic. Finally, it's my turn. Well, Dino can't do anything without us. I'll help you. The 2 of them were ready to help from the very beginning, but they joined in the fight with such light-hearted comments. Taking on a form similar to Dino's, the 3 fight to support each other. Even though it has no ego, there is no doubt that the evil dragon spawn is dangerous as it attacks on instinct. Even its existence value now surpasses that of Dino and the others who have not yet attained apotheosis. Fighting with only a sword to save energy as much as possible was more hard work than they had expected. They don't mean exhausting, but are mentally troublesome, as monotonous tasks are more prone to induce mistakes. Dino asked for cooperation without showing off, and it was the right thing to do. And then, the combination of Dino and the other 3 was excellent. Gracia also summoned Aegis, and her defense was perfect. She stood in the front and took the role of the shield. Gracia caught and Dino slashed. Pico was in charge of supporting them, moving around a bit to keep herself out of the way. The 3 evil dragon spawn came at us one after another, but they were easily repelled. Although they were stronger than before, they seemed to be no match for the 3 of them working together. Dino's swordsmanship, Gracia's shield handling, and Pico's situational judgment were all in place, so that they could fight for a long time without getting tired. As a matter of fact, apotheosis is a heavy burden. It does not affect them for a short time, but if it continues for a long time, they are afraid of the repercussions. During a battle, the apotheosis may be suddenly released. It would be fatal, so it was natural to take countermeasures. Dino and his friends can fight for hours. Just when they thought they had no more worries, they received telepathy net from Rammus. Oh, yes. Isolation of the labyrinth, but you won't be able to see what's going on there once it's fully completed. Oh, so. Dino tried to ignore it, but Rammus's next remark left him in shock. That means that I will be out of power, right? What may be a matter of course for Rammus was a surprise for Dino. What? Does that mean that the effect of the resurrection bracelet will also disappear? Of course it does, doesn't it? Dino was puzzled. Hey, then how are we going to escape after the isolation is over? Rammus explained to them earlier that the hierarchy of the isolation process is going to be purged. If they stayed in this place, they might end up wandering in the space-time void with Vega. Dino was concerned about this and asked Rammus back. Oh, Benimaru will go there when the time is right. Rammus said that they plan to connect the space with Benimaru's space-time manipulation and let everyone escape. Dino is very anxious about whether or not they will be able to succeed in their impromptu attempt. Is it really that easy? Can you really do it that well? It's not whether we can do it or not, but whether we will do it. It's the only way to get out of here. Dino gave up, saying there was no point in asking any more questions. If Tremors says there's no other way, then there is no other way. All that remained was to somehow make the operation succeed. After finishing the communication with Tremors, Dino explained the situation to everyone. This was a conversation that he did not have much time to spare because he was fighting. So, please keep the status quo. Well, I'm glad we can see the future. Yeah, I guess so. I have a feeling that we're in trouble if we provoke Vega any further. Diablo will take care of it. No one argues with me because the key is timing. In fact, even if there is a complaint, there is no other alternative, so we have no choice but to comply with the situation. In such a situation, Mai, who was supporting them in the back of the room, asked them in a non-committal manner. Well, what about me? Thinking that she could easily escape with her own authority, she tried to point it out. The coordination between the three of them was so complete that Mai could not interfere. Dino's proposal came as a surprise to him. As a man who likes to take a rest even when he should not, he thought that Mai should take a rest when she could. So, pointing in the direction of Zijin's group, he gently told her. Mai, you stay there. Zijin will protect you if anything happens, so cover us from there. Right. It's not safe to go forward. We'll take care of this. That's the way it was decided. Mai stood next to Apido who was supporting Zijin, and decided to trust Dino and the others.